Good evening. Welcome to my live session. How are you doing today? I'm Adeola Adeyemi. I'm a psychiatrist, a mental fitness coach, and the founder of Talk Mental Health. Tell me your name and where you're joining from. Hello. I can see Sarah. I can see Dara. Let me know your name and where you're joining from. So I'm Adeola Adeyemi. I'm joining from UK. I live in the UK. I'm a psychiatrist, I'm a mental fitness coach, and I'm the founder of Talk Mental Health. So let me know your name and where you're tuning from. How has your day been? I hope you're not stressed. I hope you're not stressed. Okay? So, please confirm if you could hear me clearly. All right? Confirm if you could hear me clearly. I want to know if you're hearing me, if the audio is good. And today's topic would be stress and suicidal behavior. And that's what I'm asking. I hope you've not been stressed today. We all go through stress, right? Okay? So let me know. Dele, thank you joining from Lagos. That means you could hear me. I believe so. Any other person willing to tell me where they're joining from? Dele, by the way, how is Lagos? I hope the stress is not too much in Lagos. I hope the traffic isn't too bad. Okay. Ore from Abuja. Thank you, Ore from Abuja. Sarah from Syria. Thank you for joining. So we're discussing stress and suicidal behavior because, of course, this is the Suicide Prevention Month. And my organization is Talk Mental Health. So all I talk about is mental health. We discuss how to prevent mental health problems and how to, normalize discussions surrounding it. Oh, okay. Thank you, Daily. Lagos is great at the moment. We give all the glory to God for that. So as you're joining, please let me know your name and where you're joining from. And make sure you stay to the end of this because it's going to be fantastic. I'm going to answer all your questions. So if you have any questions regarding your mental health, regarding stress, suicidal behavior, do not hesitate to put it in the comment box. I'm going to answer all of them. All right. So, today from Lagos, thank you. I can see a lot of people joining. I'm really happy. Thank you. Please, if you're not following me, just make sure you do so right now. Follow me at talkmental.health. It's very important for us to stay updated about our mental well-being. And as a professional, I give out a lot of content, updated content about mental health. You don't want to miss it. We know how algorithm is like on Instagram and on all the social media platforms. So the best you could do is follow me and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss out on all the content I share on my platform. All right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. I'm really excited about today. Okay, so let's dive in. But before I go, I want to ask you, how have you been today? I hope you're not stressed. So yes, we've had the weekend has ended and Monday it's our first work day or working day. And most times when people, after the weekend, we usually get this anxiety, especially if your work is really stressful and you get this anxiety towards the evening, maybe like Sunday evening or Monday morning because you're about to resume work. So I'm just asking, how have you been? I hope you aren't so stressed. I hope your first day at work was fantastic. For me, today was my rest day. So I was busy at work over the weekend. So I worked through the weekend and I had today off as my rest day. So I didn't go to work today. But how have you been? So Sarah from Syria said, my final exam is next to the stress level. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's a lot of stress. I can only imagine how that could be for you, Sarah. And that's one of the things we want to discuss today because sometimes we think stress is, most people think stress is all about something negative. I want to let you know that stress is common to every one of us. We all go through stress and it does not necessarily mean that stress is always negative. So stress can actually be something positive because it prepares us for what we have ahead. For instance, Sarah has exams in 2 days and she's stressed because she's trying to prepare for the exams. So when you have a target and you're trying to get to it, you get stressed, but it's something positive, isn't it? So sometimes, or most times, especially if the stress is not chronic, stress can be positive. So trying to juggle many responsibilities, our everyday activity, trying to get up, go to work, take care of our family, take care of ourselves, can also be stressful. But our ability to cope with this normal everyday stress is one of the criteria for mental health, according to the World Health Organization. So stress isn't always bad, okay? Let me say that again. Stress isn't always bad, isn't always negative, okay? It's just for us to be able to create a balance. Like Daily has said, took today away though to rest. Yes, I also add today to rest. Today was my rest day. So sometimes we just need to be able to create that balance, because if we continue to expose ourselves to stress, it can be detrimental to our mental well-being. And studies have even shown that exposure to chronic stress can cause some suicidal behavior. So if you're exposed to chronic stress, adverse life events, stressful situations, not just normal everyday stress like waking up and going to work, financial stress, academic stress sometimes, because I've had a lot of students taking their own lives because of stress of academics. So a lot of stress like that has been linked to exposure to lots of stress like that has been linked to suicidality, suicidal behavior. This month, September, is the month of Suicide Prevention Month, and it's important for us to discuss this. So I know that maybe some people might not have experienced it before, but a lot of people are going through so much, but they are not voicing out. They're not coming to say, "Oh, I've thought about suicide. I'm even contemplating suicide." That silent prayer you pray before you go to bed, that God, maybe you can just come now. God, let this be the end. Let me not wake up. That kind of prayers we pray to God because of our life, what we're going through. These are subtle signs of suicide. Because if life is good, if life is beautiful, if you're not stressed, if you're enjoying your life, you feel fulfilled, you wouldn't think that. You wouldn't even want to go. You want to continue to enjoy your life. But because life can be very hard on us, in fact, at this moment, life is generally hard for almost everyone, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're middle class, whatever it is, whatever phase you are in your life right now, it is difficult for people worldwide. And we've had alarming rates of suicide in our society. So it's important for us to talk about this. All right. So far, do you have any questions for me? Do you have any clarifications? Whatever it is you want to ask, put in the comment box. Please let me know. Do not hesitate to let me know. So let me define what stress is. Stress is our body's reaction to everyday activity. So stress is your body's reaction to feelings of threats, feelings of pressure. So when you wake up in the morning and you have to, take care of yourself, take care of your children, perhaps prepare for the family, make a breakfast and all. So that can be overwhelming sometimes, and your reaction to that kind of situation, your daily life, which is, pressurizing or overwhelming, is called stress. So sometimes we either face our stress or face our situation, or we face it, or we flee from it. Or sometimes some people would freeze. So we call it fight, flight, and freeze, depending on how overwhelmed we are. So stress is a normal phenomenon common to every one of us. So if you see someone that is very rich and perhaps appear to be doing well, it does not necessarily mean that they are not stressed. So everyone is stressed, trying to think of how to sustain your business. If you have a business that is thriving, how to ensure you want more. Even if you have a lot of money, you want more. Every one of us want more, better things in life. So that can be stressful. So it is common to everyone. I don't know. Can you type in the comment box, what are the things that have been stressing you lately? Put in the comment box what are the things that have been stressing you lately. You can just write job, take care of my family, whatever it is, just put in the comment box. Sarah said that she's got exams, and she's stressed because of that. So I agree with her, because preparing for exam can be stressful. But I want to know, people that are on this call right now, what are the kind of things that are stressing you? Put in the comment box. Put in the comment box. All right, I'm waiting. Put in the comment box. Okay, so like I said, stress is common to all. Financial management, you see? Thank you, Maria. Maria just said financial management. Financial stress is one of the things that have been linked to suicidal behavior. I've had a lot of people take their own life because they are financially stressed. So they are unable to pay some debts, or they can't even figure out how to pay the huge debt. So they just resort to taking their lives. So if someone is able to sort out that issue, it's not if they want to end their life, but because the financial stress is overwhelming, they can't even imagine how to deal with it, and they think taking their own lives is the best solution, is an escape out of the situation. So it's very important for us to understand this. As you're joining the live, let me know, what are the things stressing you lately? What are the things that's been stressful to you in recent times? Put in the comment box. Okay, so exposure to chronic stress is dangerous. Stress is common to all, like I said, but exposure to chronic stress is what is dangerous, is what is distressing. So let me just say that whenever we are stressed, normal everyday stress, we call it EU stress, right? But when it becomes chronic, when it becomes, consistent, you're exposed to stress from time to time, you're always tired, fatigued, you've lost interest in things that you used to love, you don't find pleasure in things, you have mood swings all the time, you've always complained of headache, fatigue, and all of that. You can't even think clearly, you're always forgetting things, you can't sleep well. Then it's becoming distressing. We call it distress, and that's chronic exposure to stress. Those are the things that could lead to burnout, can lead to depression, anxiety, substance abuse, sleep problems. And that is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stress that could lead to suicidal behavior. All right. So when you're exposed to stress constantly or consistently, then it becomes detrimental to your mental well-being. So Dele said, the other time I said, please put in the comment box what have been stressing you lately. So if you're on this call, please put in the comment box what have been stressing you lately, and ask me all your questions. I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to answer all your questions. So Dele said, balancing work and church responsibility have been a major source of stress. You see, creating that work-life balance is can be challenging. Every one of us go through that. Because when you are still a student, perhaps you don't have a family, all you do is think of your academics. If you're a student, or if you're working, just think about work, go to work, come back, nobody to disturb you. But when responsibilities start to increase, for instance, in Dele's case, church responsibility, maybe family responsibility would add to it. Having to create that balance can be demanding, can be challenging. And if care is not taken, you get overwhelmed. So when you're overwhelmed, it depends on how you process the information in your mind. So if you don't think through it well, you might start to feel like, I can't get through this. There's no way I'm going to be able to solve this or resolve this. And if care is not taken, it becomes chronic in nature, and suicidality or mental health problems can start to come in. And that's why it's important for us to pay attention to ourselves. How am I feeling? I always say this, reflection is important. Reflect on how your day has been every day. How am I feeling today? Have I been stressed? Have I overstretched myself? And I always say we need to incorporate breaks into our everyday life. So you don't have to wait till a particular time of the year for you to go on breaks, for you to go on vacation. Some of us would wait and get ourselves exhausted, work, get ourselves exhausted until a particular time in our life, in the year rather, that we would now go on vacation. It's good, it's fine if you can't afford it, but I'm the fan of incorporating breaks into your everyday activity. You have to learn to take breaks as you work, break, work, rest, work, rest. That's how I think is the best way to create that work-life balance. If not, you get exhausted, you get overwhelmed, and you could burn out. All right? Am I making sense? Are you following me? If you have questions, put in the comment box. If you are just joining, make sure you go back and watch the replay, because I've said a lot of things at the beginning of this live. All right? So let me talk about suicidal behavior, because the topic is stress and suicidal behavior. So suicidal behavior is anyone talking about suicide, anyone talking about ending their life, or any action, right? Action that has to do with ending one's life. So yeah, that's like a straightforward definition of suicidal behavior, because of course suicide is taking one's life. Suicide is taking one's life, ending one's life by oneself, right? So, but the truth is that sometimes many people don't even voice it out. They don't say it out. They won't tell you they want to end their life. I guess it's because of our culture, our environment. Some of us don't even really listen or pay attention to people, some changes we notice in them. So suicide doesn't have a look. So a person that is suicidal might not even, you might not even notice it in how they appear. They might look okay, everything might be fine, they might be happy. But the truth is they have a lot of things that they are going through within them. And if you're not very attentive, if you don't pay attention to them, you wouldn't know that they have suicidal intentions. So I know we are very busy. Everyone is busy hustling. I don't blame anyone. I know that the inflation rate, things, the hike in prices, and all of that, we need to hustle, we need to make more money, and that has reduced our social interaction, how we relate with one another. We're always on the go. Even to call your friends sometimes might be difficult, But the truth is that you have to understand that suicide is not always about someone coming to say it. In fact, someone might be depressed and may not really look depressed. Do you get what I mean? So, of course, depression is having low mood, loss of interest, and, reduced energy level, feeling helpless, hopeless, and all of that. But some people are depressed and still very actively working. They are doing their job. They are showing up at work. They are showing up in their academics. They are pushing it, but they are depressed. We call it smiling depression. They appear okay, but they are depressed. So my point here is that suicidal behavior is beyond voicing out or saying that I want to end my life. Suicidal behavior is beyond that, because people can appear happy and still want to end their life. They might still feel hopeless, helpless about what's going on in their lives, and want to end it all. So my point here today is that for people with suicidal behavior or people with suicidal thoughts, they have this distorted thinking pattern about themselves. So we call it unhelpful thinking. Unhelpful thinking. I don't know if I'm making sense or if I'm saying a lot of things. If I'm making sense, let me know. I hope I'm not boring us with jargons. So if I'm making sense, let me know. And let me know if you have questions, put it in the comment box. All right? So unhelpful thinking is what affects those that have suicidal behavior. So they have unhelpful thinking pattern about themselves, about the world around them, their environment, and about the future. So when a person that has suicide start to think life is not worth living, they feel helpless, they feel hopeless about the future, and they also feel worthless. So when you combine worthlessness with hopelessness and helplessness, then you know that suicide is the next thing. All right. So, and sometimes it's because of our perception, the person's perception. So it's the way you perceive things. It's the way you see things, what you're going through, the way you view it. So if you think life isn't worth living, nothing is good about me, you understand, that's how you've perceived it, then most likely you feel like no one can help me because, of course, I'm not good enough. and no one wants to help me anyways, and then you feel hopeless about the future. If my present life is this bad, then there's no hope about the future. Let me just end my life. And it is this altered way of thinking that affects people most of the time. Sometimes when we sit down and we go through therapy and you start to change the way you think about things, there will be a lot of improvement, because you realize that it isn't that bad. There's actually solutions to some of these things you're going through. So remember, what we're talking about is stress and suicidal behavior. So when you're exposed to chronic stress, you might have altered thinking pattern. You might have altered ways of seeing things or perceiving your situation that might start to make you feel like you ain't good enough, life is not worth living, and the best thing you need to do is to take your own life. All right. So, and that's why I know I'm a psychiatrist. I know I'm qualified for this, but how many psychiatrists do we have all over the world? How many people do we have that are really qualified? One person, two people. The number of psychiatrists we have all over the world cannot resolve these issues we have. We have to help one another. So I need everyone on this life to be our brothers' keepers. So we have to be there for one another. We have to be able to pay attention to people around you, to see how things have changed with them and how you could communicate with them to be able to change or help them, or connect them to the source of help that they need. Because if we continue to live our lives and mind our businesses like we say on the social media, if we continue to do that, a lot of people are dying in silence. They are just keeping quiet. They have a lot of things they're going through. They don't know who to talk to. So the purpose of this live session is to create awareness. Let us know that we need to be our brother's keepers. If you notice some changes in someone that you're close to, be kind enough to ask them how they are doing. And don't be too quick to offer them solutions. Just be there, listen to them, be there with them, and let them have that shoulder to lean on. Let them have that support they need. That can go a long way, to reduce suicidal ideation, to feel like they're supported. And that can really be helpful to them. So 𝐒𝐥𝐻 Jessica said, so our train of thought affects our view of life. Of course, 𝐒𝐥𝐻, our train of thought affects our view of life. So our thoughts, the way we think, affect the way we feel, and the way we feel affects the way we behave. So it starts from your thinking, how you think things, how you see things, your view, your perception. It impacts your feeling. So if I think that my life is good, by the way, I have a book that I just published, You Deserve Bliss. And I remember when the guy working with me to produce the book sent the book to me, sent the video to me. I was so excited because I felt good. So in my thought, I thought, oh, this is fantastic. I saw the book as amazing. Oh, my book is finally out. My dream has come true, something like that. And I immediately felt happy. I felt that surge of happiness within me. So my thinking, because I liked the book so much, and I felt, oh, this is a dream come true for me, I linked that to how it connected to how I felt. I had that surge of emotion, surge of happiness, perhaps a lot of burst of serotonin, dopamine in my brain. These are happy chemicals. It made me feel so excited. And also it affected my behavior. I became really energized. I wanted to, I shared the news with very close family members. I was so excited about it. So my point here is your feeling would always affect you. Your thinking would always affect your feeling, and your feeling would affect your behavior. That's how it works. All right. So if people that are going through stressful situation, if they're able to perceive things in a better light, if you are able to give them like a ray of hope in how they're thinking, then it might affect affect their feeling. They might feel better about how they see things, and their behavior or thinking of ending their life would reduce. That suicidal ideation will reduce or even stop. I don't know if that explains what the questions you've asked, 𝐒𝐥𝐻. All right. So I would like to at this point say that the statistics regarding suicide keeps rising. But, the one we have before pandemic is still like 800,000 people take their own life every year, according to the World Organization. But I know that number has really increased because a lot of people are taking their own lives more after the pandemic as compared to before the pandemic. So, and that's, it's about 40, every 40 seconds, one person taking their life. Every 40 seconds, a person dies by suicide. And it is said that 90% of the suicidality is linked to mental health problems. So it means that majority of suicidal issues because of mental health problems, depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, substance use, and all of that. You're welcome, Ekele. That's why it's important for us to pay attention to our mental well-being, because mental health problems can lead to suicidality or suicide. So if you have mental health problems like depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, substance use, you might be at higher risk of coming down, of having suicidal ideation, and also ending your own life. All right. So and it is also said that 77% of those suicide cases is in the low and middle income countries. Nigeria is part of the low and middle income countries, unfortunately, and that's why we have a high and alarming rate of suicide in Nigeria. It's just that it's not reported. I know that there's high rate of suicide all over the world because we have the data. We get updated data from these developed countries, but in Nigeria we don't have enough data. But it's happening. The social media, we even see it on the social media. It's more. So it's happening. A lot is happening that is not even getting to all. We're not even seeing it. So a lot of people are going through a lot of issues. Some people, I'm sure some people on this live would have suicidal ideation because I know it is high. It is real. It is real. And what are the risks? What are the risk factors of suicide? When a person has made prior attempts at taking his own or her own life, then the person is at higher risk. In fact, that is one of the highest risk factor of suicide. That you have attempted suicide in the past puts you at higher risk of taking your own life in the future. Let me say that again, that you have attempted suicide in the past put you at higher risk than any other person of taking your own life in the future. So what it means is that we shouldn't neglect or we shouldn't ignore people that have perhaps attempted suicide in the past. So, thank God, everything is over now. The person is fine. You don't have to talk about it again. No, you have to continue to follow up and check on them. Are they okay? Because that's the highest risk of taking one's life again. If you've attempted in the past, you most likely would do it again. That's what studies have shown. So let's not say this person is an attention seeker. This person is just trying to, get attention from people and all of that. No. It is real. For someone to attempt suicide in the past, there's a higher risk of them taking their life again. Isolation is also one of the risks for suicide. Okay, if someone is isolated, person is not socializing, prefers to be by themselves and all that, you need to actually check what's going on with this person and know how to help them. So if you feel like you're not supported enough, that's why I said that sometimes when our friends are going through stuff, just trying to pay attention and listening to them can go a long way to help the way they feel. So lack of support is one of the things that could make someone want to end their life, like, oh, nobody is there for me, I'm not good enough, my life is not worth living. And feeling helpless, hopeless, worthless. Those ones are also risk factors for suicide. When we have poor coping skills, remember I mentioned stress. When we have exposed to chronic stress and, the stress is very overwhelming. If you don't have good coping mechanism, how to cope and deal with stress, you can think, oh, I can't get through this. This is too much for me. Let me end my life. It's over. Let me just go through it. I don't want to go through this anymore. So if you don't know how to cope in adaptive ways to stressful situations, you can be at risk of taking your own life, having suicide. Then with mental health problems like depression, anxiety, substance abuse, violent behavior, and all, substance use, like I said. Okay, so those are the risk factors. Sudden calm. I know that I said if a person that is impulsive. Okay, I didn't mention that. If you're very impulsive, you might act out of impulse and want to take your life because you feel overwhelmed at that moment. But some other people too, if a person is very active and always talking, and the person suddenly becomes calm, you have to pay attention. Why did that change? Why did that change for the person? What happened? So you might want to, check on them and see what's going on with them. I just noticed that you've not been talking like you used to. I just noticed that you've been quiet. I know we are very busy people, and all we do is, hustle, make money, learn, try to study for exams and do all of that, which is fantastic, right? But the truth is that we are social animals. We need to connect with people around us. We need to try to reach out to people that we feel they're not doing well. And if you notice a change in how they're doing, you need to at least talk to them. It can go a long way to help them from what they're going through. All right. And we need to also pay attention to some statements. So when a person is it's suicidal, they might not come to you to tell you, I want to end my life. In fact, only a few people would say such thing. Some people might just say, life is not worth living. What's the essence? Let me, they won't even say, I want to die. They can say, I wish I'm not here anymore. I wish I'm not here anymore. Everyone hates me, life will be better without me. I think this person is better than me, comparing yourself. Those are the kind of statements that you hear from people that are suicidal. They might not come to you to tell you, I want to end my life. Only a few people say that. But subtle signs of hopelessness, helplessness, worthlessness, these are statements they can make that would, that could be very serious, and you can pick on that and start to interact with them. Tell them to open up to you so you can help them and see how far they've gone with their suicidal thoughts. Perhaps if they have plans and all that, how to help them. All right. So let me, I don't know if you have any questions. I'm about to round up. Questions, comments. Thank you, everyone. I see you all. You've been fantastic on this live, and it's been interactive enough. Thank you. How do we help people that have suicidal behavior? So when I'm talking about help, I'm talking about help for yourself and for people around you, because you cannot give what you don't have. You have to also be able to pay attention to yourself and know if you're stressed up to the point that perhaps you've been thinking of ending your life and you don't know about it. So perhaps you're having some kind of thought in your mind that is related to suicide, and you don't even know about it. So you have to, first of all, pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to yourself. What's going on your mind? How are you doing? Has there been any change lately? Have you been overstressed, or have you overstretched yourself? What are the things that you're going through? Do you feel happy like before? Have you lost interest in things you used to do? Do you prefer to be by yourself? These are things that you need to pay attention to and see and note. So you need to pay attention to all of these things and note them down. So if you think you need help, reach out to me, book a session with me. We'll talk about this. I'll put you through. Then we'll know if there's a problem, if there's a mental health problem, we'll diagnose it. If not, if it's dealing with stress or coping with stress, we'll be able to identify what the problem is, right? So it starts from paying attention to yourself. So it's only someone that is aware of him or herself that can be aware of someone else around them. So it's until you are able to pay attention to yourself, that's when you can pay attention to people around you. So if you're good enough, if your self-awareness skill is sharp enough for you to identify that, oh, I'm stressed, this is not me, I'm feeling somehow, this is how I don't usually feel this way, something is wrong, then you can actually use that skills that you've learned about paying attention to yourself with other people around you. You pay attention to others. So this person used to be very excited. Something is wrong. This person used to perhaps share some post on their WhatsApp 3 or 4 times a day, but they haven't done that in the past 2 weeks. Something is wrong. Something is off. You get what I mean? So that's how you pay attention to yourself and pay attention to people around you. So when you are now with someone that you think they are suicidal, you have to learn to listen to them. That's what we don't know how to do. And as a therapist, I've had to learn how to actively listen to people. Those are the skills that I learned, because it's very important not to be judgmental when you are listening to people. You listen to understand, not listen to give feedback or to talk back to them. Many a times we are very quick to give solutions because we're not patient enough. Sometimes it's okay to just listen and be quiet. That can go a long way to help someone with suicidal ideation, all right? So you listen and pay attention to them. You listen to what they have to say. You tell them it's okay. They can talk to you. You're there for them. If you have the time, sit with them. Let them feel like let them feel heard, like you want them around. Don't be in a haste to go, checking your wristwatch that you have to leave. It's better not to start than to start something that you cannot end. So I tell people, it's better not to say anything. Don't comment. Don't tell them you want to help when you know you can't do it, than to say something that will hurt someone that has suicidal thoughts. All right? So listen and without judgment, validate their feelings. Don't be too quick to say, oh, it's not that bad. That's what we say. It's not that bad now. Come off it. Some people have it worse. Those are very, very toxic, invalidating and dismissive statements. Don't say that. Validate these people's feelings, validate their emotions. It's okay. I understand that this is difficult for you. I know it's a lot to deal with. I'm here to listen to you. Can tell me whatever it is. I'm happy to help you in any way you want me. What do you want me to do for you? How do you want me to help you? These are things we need to say. I'm saying all of this. These are things I tell people during my therapy sessions when they come to me. But I realize that I can't do it alone. My friends, my colleagues can't do it alone. Every one of us, we need to learn how to communicate with people that are going through difficulties. We need to learn how to speak to them so they feel relieved and they feel calm. And that's why I'm sharing this. If you're just joining, make sure you watch the replay. This is a video that you need to watch over and over again. Learn this communication skills so that you can be helpful to people around you. All right? Does that make sense? If you have any questions, please put in the comment box. Remind these people that they are loved. Remind these people that you care for them, and also check in on them frequently. Let them know that you actually care for them. Check in on them, follow up, and ask them what they want. Don't be too quick to tell them you need to see a therapist or you need to see a psychiatrist. No. Ask them, what do you want me to do? What exactly do you want? Let them be the one to tell you that they need help. Then you can now connect them to the source of help. Let them see a professional. All right. So for me, I offer therapy sessions. I offer consultations. My organization, we do that. So you can reach out to us via the link in our bio or via our website. You can reach out to us if you have anyone going through stuff that you need us to see. You book a session and we will see them. So it's very important for us to know how to communicate with people so it doesn't make the situation worse for them. All right. I don't know if anyone has questions because I've come to the end of today's session. Remember that stress is normal. It's common to everyone. We all go through stress, but when we are exposed to chronic stress, that is when it becomes detrimental to our mental well-being, and that could even lead to suicide. So that's why we're talking about this, because this month is Suicide Prevention Month, and we all need to be aware of all of these things. Another point I need to raise now is importance of self-care. So when we get so stressed and overwhelmed, sometimes it's because we are not incorporating breaks and, self-care practices into our everyday life. It's important for us to incorporate breaks and rest into our everyday activity. We don't have to wait till a particular time to get the rest or weekends to get the rest. You can actually rest, while working. even if it's just for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, get up, stretch your legs, take a break from work and come back to work. It helps a lot. And because I'm a self-care advocate, I have my book, You Deserve Bliss. I'm launching my book in September. I think in 20 days time, September 24th. The book is a self-care guide for everyone that loves to take care of themselves. So it's not all about taking care of your body. It's about taking care of your mind and your mental well-being. So this book, everything I've talked about today and more about self-care, I put it all together in this book. I made it easy for everyone that picks the book to read. It has journal pages for journaling in it, because I know the importance of journaling. So if this is something you think you really, really need, reach out to me. I believe everyone on this live should actually get the book, because it is a self-care guide. And I know that if we incorporate self-care into our lives, the stress would reduce. So we won't feel so much stress, and it won't become chronic enough to cause mental health problems for us. So you see, I'm more of a prevention advocate. So I want us to take care of our mental well-being, so we don't have to break down before we do something about it. One of the reasons why I wrote the book. All right, so if this is something you think you would like, reach out to me via my DM or click the link in my bio and pre-order for $10 only. My book, You Deserve Bliss, is going for $10 now, and when we launch, it's going to increase to $14. So do not hesitate to get the book today. All right, so if you have any question, if you have any comment, if you have any clarification, this is the time to ask your question. All right, if not, we're going to call it a day. For those that are just joining, please make sure you go back and watch the replay, and leave your feedback on the comments when I put it on my IGTV or on my YouTube channel. Make sure you leave a comment or feedback on there. I'm happy to answer all your questions. All right, so thank you everyone for joining. I see Dr. Moni. Thank you, Dr. Moni. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Toluwani. Thank you, Treats by Max. Thank you, the self-awareness advocate. Thank you. I can see you followed me. If you're not following me, make sure you go and follow me right now at 𝐓𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐤. Please watch the replay, Dr. Moni. Yes, okay. So make sure you follow me at 𝐓𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐤, and do not hesitate to reach out to me via my DM if you need my help, my services, or whatever it is you need me for, questions, anything. I'm happy to answer them. So that'll be all for today. Thank you, everyone, and do have a lovely Monday evening. Don't forget to be intentional about your mental health. Bye.